Joe, did you see Councilmember Salberg's email?
I did. I just responded, so it doesn't look like he's going to be able to join.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure you were aware.
Yep, I did. Thank you for following up. I don't see Jonathan or Manny.
I believe Ms. Seeger said she was working with someone, but I didn't catch who.
Jonathan's coming in. I don't see Manny.
Pat said she was
Pat's working with Manny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pat's working with Manny.
I'm here.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hey. My iPad, for some reasons, I don't know, I had to back it up and it wasn't working. Do this on my phone.
I believe that at least one of the Serenellis are supposed to be in attendance as well.
Okay.
I spoke with Ray Jr. this afternoon, and he does plan on attending.
And he should be showing up any minute on here.
Adam, you got a new last name?
Yeah, you like that? I don't know how that one happened. I went through the invite. Someone got it wrong. Always wanted to be a Salber.
Okay, Manning made it by 6:30. Whoa.
Here we go. All right. Manny, you there?
Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. You got on mute.
Well, I'm so used to
All
mute.
right. Nope, he's there. All right. It is 6:30. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this point in time, we're going to take a moment of silence to remember the services and sacrifice of the armed service members who protect our nation and the first responders who protect our neighborhoods. I'd also like to mention that this past week, we lost a dedicated member of the Rockaway Township community, Mike Friedberger, a longtime member of the Board of Ed and former Board of Ed president and longtime employee of American Standard, passed away.
Oh, man.
And, our heart goes out to his wife and his daughter. So keep it in your prayers too.
Oh, what a shame.
Clerk, please take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly?
Here.
Councilmember Quinn?
Here.
Councilmember Friedlander?
Here.
Councilmember Kritz?
Here.
Councilmember Salberg?
Here.
Councilmember Brooks?
Here.
Councilmember Noon?
Here.
Vice President Sackett?
Here.
President Jackson?
Here, we have a quorum.
Please be advised that all electronic remote meetings of the Township Council held on WebEx are recorded. All members of the public will be provided with the opportunity to speak during any public hearing or open to the public sections of the meeting. The Township Clerk will unmute each member of the public and ask if they wish to speak. As per Rockaway Township Code 2-5.14, any person desiring to address the council shall first seek recognition by the presiding officer, and upon recognition by the chair, the person shall give their name and address for the record, unless otherwise, unless further time is granted by the council, they shall limit their statement to 5 minutes. Statements shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any member thereof. A councilman shall not direct any question to a speaker addressing the council except through the presiding officer. In addition to speaking on the record during council meetings, members of the public may submit questions and comments to the council by emailing questions@rockawaytownship.org by the end of the open to public session. This meeting was advertised in the Daily Record on May 15th, 2021, and the Star Ledger on May 17th, 2021, the official newspapers for the Township of Rockaway. Notice was posted on the official bulletin boards of Rockaway Township. Before we get into the bulk of the agenda, Mr. Mayor, did you have anything you wanted to address?
I do. I just wanted to, I spoke to Joe about this earlier, but I wanted to speak to the council in its entirety. I would like to have you guys reconsider tonight the we created a special events ordinance to help businesses in town, so we could put on different events like the farmers market and different things throughout the town. The purpose of it was not to have government overreach or fees or anything like that. So I'm looking for the council to amend or to pass a reduction tonight in terms of the fee. Go back from $100 to $50. I've been working with White Meadow Lake in a few of the communities, and some of the events we got a list from White Meadow Lake is in terms of events that they have, and I'll go over one event to give you an example. Sometimes they do a community garage sale or community fair where different folks get together, and there might be over 50 people there, and that falls under that ordinance. We would have to charge a fee for that. So my feeling is for things like that, someone's going to set up a garage sale. They're going to put items out on the table and sell them in the community. They may not make $100 for the day. So the purpose is to lessen the fees so we can work with some of the community, Meadow in particular, and some of the other communities in case they have some of these smaller events. So I just wanted to put that out on the table for consideration if you guys would consider that tonight. Thank you.
So quick question around that. Since we've raised it to 100, have we generated significant revenue for the township?
We haven't. Since it's been in place for almost a year now, that special events ordinance permit. We've had around 9 permits, and not all of them have we charged fees for. In the beginning, they were $50. Some of them, if they're 501c3s, nonprofits, we don't charge anything. It's a lot of work for the administration to go through. I have to go through, and because that provision in that ordinance allows the mayor to make managerial decisions as to whether it's considered a special event or not. But if I do consider it a special event, we have to charge the $100. I just can't reduce it to $50. So that's where the problem comes in. So I don't want to overburden small events that happen. And just keep in mind, we do still collect fees for things such as if there's inspections from the fire, from health. So those fees are still being collected in addition to whether it's a $50 or the $100 fee for the special event. We've only had 9.
Okay.
I have a question if I can, Council President.
Yeah, you're recognized to ask your question.
Mr. Mayor, when we talk about the special events, I mean, since you're really focusing on White Meadow Lake, they are a 501c7. But as far as the garage sales, why couldn't we just have a provision in the ordinance that garage sales will not fall into special event permit? And the reason why I say this, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, the reason why I ask this is that when we talk about the farmer's market, and you and I have a difference of opinion on the fees associated with that, because that host of the farmer's market makes money on rent from each vendor. So the more we lower the fees, you're allowing that individual to make more money on those vendors who's not applying a discount to the vendor's rent. I could see if it was unilaterally given to those, if it was reduced by 50%, that farmer's market would reduce to his vendors 50%, but that's not happening here. So rather than modify or amend this ordinance that you want for the special events, why would you consider a garage sale a special event?
Okay, I'm just gonna may I speak? Are you finished?
Yes, you're recognized.
The farmer's market, we've discussed this already. The farmer's market is not a special event, it's a continuous event. And that's why we went into a contract with them. That does not fall under, per se, the special event. We went into a contract with the farmer's market. The problem with each and every event that I deal with, they're all different. Some make money, some don't make money. It's a wide range of events that I'm dealing with. It's just easier and cleaner than myself sitting down and dissecting it and saying, okay, a garage sale is not we're going to exempt a garage sale. We're going to exempt this. It's too cumbersome to do it that way.
Yep. Okay. I think let us digest it.
That doesn't make any sense.
Let us digest it. I think it's something, if it's only generated like a couple $100 in revenue, it might be more prohibitive than it is effective and anything. And, my opinion would be, what the guy who runs the food market or the farmer's market does with his vendors is between him and the vendors. So
we're allowed.
Mr. Mayor Puzio, let us think about it. We'll go through it, and maybe next meeting, if you want to put something in to change the ordinance, we could discuss it further then. But thank you.
Yeah, may I say something, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman?
go ahead.
You're
recognized.
As it applies to the fee, all you need to do is pass a resolution. In order to remove an event, a type of event from the ordinance, you would have to change the ordinance. But just so you know, you only need a resolution to change the fee.
Yep. Okay.
Mr. Perrone, I have a question for Mr. Perrone. Real quick.
No, that's okay. You're not recognized.
Mr. Perrone,
So next
able to
next
do
item on the
special events for
agenda,
garage sales?
you're
Mr.
not
Perrone?
recognized, Mr. Kelly. Next item on the agenda is acceptance of the 2020 audit report.
Council President.
We have item AR 21-100, governing body certification of the annual audit, and BR 21-101, resolution approving the corrective action plan in connection with the audit report for year 2020, Township of Rockaway, County of Morris.
Will we want Mr. Serenelli to speak first?
I'm reading it, and then I was going to, thanks, Mr. Kelly. Remember, you're not running the meeting, I am. And I was going to offer up to Mr. Serenelli, if he had anything to say, he could speak. Mr. Serenelli, do you have anything you want to say?
I was just going to give a brief report to the council on the audit.
Go ahead.
So with the presentation and the acceptance of the audit tonight, you have officially concluded 2020. Which I think everybody is happy to see 2020 be in the rearview mirror, from a financial perspective. So in the audit, it's presented by fund. You have your current fund, which is your general operation, your collection of taxes. You have your other trust funds, which include your assessment trust, animal control trust, and a variety of other trusts that are held for specific purposes. You have your general capital fund, which handles all of your capital projects and the debt instruments related to them. And then you have your water utility fund, which is the operation of your water utility, including all the capital projects related to them. So in looking at your current fund, you started the year with a fund balance of $6.289 million. You used $3.828 million in the 2020 budget, and then generated $3.787 million throughout the year. So that translates into roughly a $39,000 decrease. So you end the year with a fund balance of 6.250. So I think all things considered, just to see slightly under a $40,000 decrease in your fund balance, given the incredibly chaotic year that we had, I would consider that a win. And that's for a number of different reasons. I know we always talk about the budget process and the budget planning that you do, but that really saves you during those times of need. You know, planning for the worst and hoping for the best. And when things come out a little bad, you know, it's not as bad as it could have been. And that's certainly what happened during 2020. You didn't have a catastrophic, you know, failure in your fund balance. So things turned out pretty well for 2020 as far as your current operations are concerned. Your other trusts all operated normally. There was really no major fluctuations, and your reserves were either maintained or strengthened, which I think is a great sign of the financial stability that the township has. The capital, you continued to pay down debt and undertook 4 new capital projects. And the water utility has a healthy fund balance at about 1.7 million. Everything operated normally. There was there's 1 new capital project that was undertaken, and the capital continued to pay down the debt. In the compliance side of things, we do have 2 recommendations in the audit. The first is related to the court, where there's some reconciling items on the bank reconciliation that need to be cleared. And in the water utility and the sewer department, we just feel that there could be a little bit more control over billing adjustments that are made. And so we'd like to see a little bit of a better review process go on through those billing adjustments. In the grand scheme of things, I think the 2 recommendations that you have are just, I would call them housekeeping type of recommendations, where just need to tighten things up a little bit in those 2 areas. So I don't see anything too terribly wrong, just a little room for improvement. So that's the audit. If anyone has any questions, be happy to answer them for you. But overall, I see a good financial picture at the end of 2020.
Mr. Salomon, I have a question, if you could.
You're recognized, Mr. Kelly.
First of all, thank you and your father for all the work that you do, Mr. Sarinelli, in preparing this audit every year that you've done for Rockaway Township. You said down here that we had capped down debt. What was the amount of debt that we had paid down so far?
Give me 1 second.
Thank you.
So in the capital fund, a debt paid down of 2.152 was made on your serial bonds. And you actually, I thought it was pretty interesting, paid off a loan that was undertaken in 1983 that was finally completely paid off, and that was about $30,000.
And do we have an idea of a projected amount of debt that's going to be increased from the budget that just had passed?
I don't have that in front of me right now, no.
And then lastly, when we talk about the sewer department and, you know, about controlling some of the billing and stuff like that, was there anything that we focused on with the additional 650,000 that we're looking to collect through the sewer for the assessment over in Bobbyville? That's been going on some time, because if we receive that money, it appears that it would go back into revenue, and we'd maybe have a 6.9 in reserves that we would have versus the 6.250 that we currently have from your report. Is there anything that we need to touch on that, or anything that you can recommend or focus of? Do we need to collect that 650,000 for the assessment?
So there is a management suggestion that all assessments continue to be pursued, all tax title liens continue to be pursued. So yes, that would be my suggestion to you.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Salinelli. You did a great job.
Thanks.
Anybody else have questions?
You.
Go ahead.
Just something quick. The past few years, I keep seeing coming up on this audit the same issue with the municipal court. It's been going on for a while now. So I'm just trying to see what could be done, because every year it seems to be on here as an issue that needs to be addressed. And I don't know why it continues to be an issue. So I'm just trying to find out how we can kind of get through this.
So the issue with the court is that they have a fairly antiquated accounting system. and it's very difficult once a reconciling item appears on the bank reconciliation to get the accounting software to, it actually runs on MS-DOS. I don't know if anybody remembers MS-DOS, which was the first computer operating system that came out.
We're all of that age group that we all know what MS-DOS is. Don't.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So that's so that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with that program, and I do think that the court has pursued it. Lisa, your CFO, has pursued it. I know your administration has been involved. I think they're getting, and they've gotten it. It's improved over the years. It just seems like there's a few lingering things that are still out there that hopefully we can get cleaned up over the next 6 months or so. And even if we can get them whittled down to a small enough number where we feel enough comfort that even if you continue to carry them, that the recommendation could be cleared. So there is improvement on it. It's just that it's difficult and slow with basically the operating system that the court utilizes. So there has been improvement. It's just it hasn't been cleared. And it's one of those things that once it appears in the audit, we have to check for it every single year to be cleared. So hopefully we can get it either get rid of it or at least get it whittled down to something where we could say, all right, we feel some level of comfort that this is just going to have to be an adjustment that we have to live with. But hopefully we can get the court to take care of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time, Ray. I think in my time on the council, it's the first time I've seen you on without your dad. So you did a good job. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So first, could I have a motion to approve R21-100?
So moved.
Make the motion.
Motion.
Mr. Quinn and Mr. Friedlander as a second. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
President Jackson,
Yes, that's 9 yeses. Motion carries. Next, could I have a motion to vote on R21-101?
So moved.
Motion. Stop muting me, Mrs. Peterson, please.
Mr. Quinn and Mr. Kelly.
Clerk, if you could just remind Mrs. Peterson that I can make motions and she can mute me. Thank you.
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
President Jackson,
Yes, that's 9 yeses. Motion carries, and I'd like to thank the clerk and deputy clerk for doing a great job. Next is the approval of the May 25th, 2021 regular meeting minutes. Can I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Motion.
Second.
Is that Mr. Kelly and Mr. Friedlander?
I didn't make the motion.
No, it was Mr. Salberf and Mr. Sackett.
Yes.
Oh,
Mr. Salberf.
Okay.
Yes.
sorry about that. Clerk, you can take the roll call.
just to be clear, that was Councilmember Salberg and Vice President Sackett.
Correct.
Thank you. Councilmember Kelly,
No.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
President Jackson,
Yes, that's 8 yeses, 1 no. Minutes are approved. Next, we have ordinances to adopt. We have ordinance O-21-24, an ordinance amending Chapter 7, Article 2 of the revised ordinances of the Township of Rockaway in order to add new ordinance section 64 establishing a Title 39 enforcement plan for the regulation of parking, standing ingress, egress, and the flow of traffic on private property owned by U.S. Home Corporation, DBA Lanier, identified on the official tax map of Rockaway Township as Block 22401, Lot 1.01, more commonly known as Coventry Park at Rockaway, aka The Hills, Green Pond Road, County Road 513. Can I have a motion?
I make a
We'll
motion.
make that motion.
I heard Mr. Kelly and Mr. Friedlander.
Again, it's really difficult to make a motion or a second when the clerk keeps muting us.
Yep. Clerk, if you can go through and see if there's any public discussion. First, Ms. Seeger, do we have any emails with any discussion on this ordinance?
No, I don't see any, Council President.
Okay. Clerk, you could check the people live.
Emily? Emily?
Oh, she's muted again.
Jim Waters?
No comment, thank
Patricia Degnan?
No comment, thank you.
Patrick Egan?
No comment, thank you.
That's it for the public.
Yep. 5 minutes of council discussion. Anybody have any discussion items?
I just have one question,
Go ahead. You're recognized.
and maybe Mrs. Ferrante can help me with this. Mrs. Ferrante, and I don't know this for a fact, but I had heard that in Lennar that there was an individual that had purchased a building or a group of buildings there.
Is this in reference to the ordinance?
It is. The ordinance is related to,
39.
Mr. Mayor, we're dealing with Lennar, right, the property?
Correct. 39 enforcement, traffic enforcement.
I understand that, and I know that we have one U.S. Home Corporation doing business as Lennar, but I was just making sure and confirming that there wasn't an additional property owner from an independent individual that had purchased either an area or a group of buildings. I think Mrs. Fontaine maybe has that answer rather than the mayor.
I believe all those units are for sale at the Lennar complex. They're not for rent. They are
No,
for
I
sale.
wasn't talking about rent. I'm talking about a separate owner of a complete building or a group of buildings.
I wouldn't
What
know
does that
that.
have to do with Title 39?
Mr. Mayor, if you might, you're not being recognized, Mr. Mayor. I'm talking to Mrs. Ferrante. And if there was
No,
an additional
Mr.
owner, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Kelly, when you're speaking,
Mr. Mayor.
direct your questions, Mr. Kelly, when you're speaking,
Mr. Mayor, I
direct
have
your
the
questions
floor.
towards
I
me.
appreciate you interrupting me. while I'm
Mr. Kelly,
speaking.
I would appreciate you following the process. Direct your
I
questions
have the
towards me,
floor.
not
Mr.
towards
Mayor. You're
anybody
not
on the
following
administration.
process. Thank you.
Please
I was
follow
just
the process.
concerned
May I
that
make
maybe there was a
comment?
need to add an additional name if there was another owner of it. So I was asking if there was an additional owner, just from the information that I received. I couldn't
There's no
validate it. I thought
additional
Mrs.
owner.
Ferrante. You
There's
wouldn't
no
know that,
additional
Mr. Mayor,
owner.
but I just thought Mrs. Ferrante would know.
Okay. Clerk, you can
There's
take
no
the roll
additional
call.
owner.
Clerk, you can take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly?
Did you want to offer to the rest of the council to talk, Mr. Jackson?
I don't think anybody else had questions.
You didn't ask them, though.
Mr. Kelly, vote. Yes, no, abstain.
No, I vote in favor for it.
Councilmember Quinn?
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander?
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz?
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Councilmember Noon?
Yes.
Vice President Sackett?
Yes.
President Jackson?
Yes. That's 9 yeses, motion carries.
Council President?
Yes.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to remove the closed session at this time.
Does anybody want to second that motion?
Second.
By Ms. Noon, so Mr. Quinn and Ms. Noon. Clerk, you could take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly,
Why wouldn't we want to talk about a contract?
Yes, no, or abstain.
I'm just asking a quick question and you give me an opportunity to do that. It seems, Mr. Council President, every time I put something on the agenda, you remove it. Talking
I'm
about,
not removing anything, Mr. Kelly. The council is speaking and addressing it.
well, I told the mayor
Yes,
this
no,
was
or
going to
abstain,
happen based on
Mr.
your
Kelly.
direction.
Yes, no, or abstain.
No, we're not gonna, no, I'm not gonna have this thing.
Okay, go ahead. Clerk, continue to take the roll call.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg.
No,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
no,
Councilmember Brooks,
You can't vote on it. You can't vote on it, Doug. You get.
Mr. Kelly, be quiet. You're not recognized. It's none of your business.
Benefit for Mr. Monty. How are you gonna vote on it?
You voted
Please
too.
mute him.
I don't get a benefit from Mr. Monty.
Please mute him and go on, clerk.
You can't mute me.
Councilmember Brooks,
Careful,
He said
Mr. Brooks.
yes.
All right.
Councilmember Noon,
Yeah.
Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
President Jackson,
Yes, that's 7 yeses, 2 nos. The closed session is removed from the agenda. Next, we have open to the public. Mrs. Seeger, do we have any emails?
Council President.
Did you say no?
No.
Okay. Clerk, you can go through the public.
bear with me a minute, I'm sorry.
She's unmuted. it
Emily?
looks like. Mhm.
No, I'm fine. No comment.
Thank you. Jim Waters,
No comment, thank you.
Patricia Degnan,
No comment, thank you.
Patrick Egan,
No comment, thank you.
that's it for members of the public.
Okay, Mrs. Seeger, do we have any other emails? Did we get any emails?
Not at this time, sir.
Next, we have ordinances to introduce. We have O21-25, an ordinance repealing and replacing Chapter 5, Article 5 entitled Peddlers, Canvassers, Solicitors, and Mobile Food Vendors of the General Ordinances of the Township of Rockaway. Can I have a
Council President, can we have discussion on this before we do a vote real quick? Just before we go into the adoption process, since we're all together and won't violate quorum.
There's no introduction ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, you're not recognized. You're not going to have to run a
Can I have a
meeting.
motion in a second?
So moved.
Second,
Mr. Quinn and Miss Noon.
I love a guest telling us how to run a meeting. Love it.
Clerk, you can take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly,
No.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
yes.
Vice President Sackett,
No.
President Jackson,
Yes, that's 7 yeses, 2 nos, motion carries. Next is our consent agenda. We have A, R21-92, B, R21-93, C, R21-94, D, R21-95, E, 21-96, F, R21-97, G, R21-98, H, R21-99, I, R21-102, J, R21-103, K, R21-104, L, R21-105, M, R21-106, N, R21-107, O, R21-108, P, R21-109, Q, R21-110, R, R21-111, S R21-112, T R21-113, U R21-114, V R21-115, W R21-116, X R21-117, Y R21-118, Z R21-119, AA R21-120, BB R21-121, CC R21-122, DD R21-123, EE R21-124, and FF R21-125. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Point of Mr.
Clerk, can you remove A, N, and M for discussion?
Say the letters again.
They would be, it's for the clerk. It would be A, M, and N to remove for
Does
discussion.
anybody want to second that motion? Mr.
There's no motion, Council President. M, I can't vote on because I have a conflict because I own property on Queens.
Mr.
I
Kelly,
can't vote on
Mr.
M.
Kelly, it's going to be a motion if you want to remove them.
No, it's not a motion required.
Mr. Yachafano, what's your opinion?
I don't ask Mr. Yachafano, it's the
I'm
clerk's.
asking Mr. Yachafano because he's a licensed attorney, unlike you. So, Mr. Yachafano,
We have an.
Mr. Kelly, be
It is
quiet.
heard.
It's a guide. Mr. Yachafano, go ahead.
Thank you,
The guide
Council
of the
President. Council President, the procedure established by this council, which it has a right to do through you as Council President, is to require a motion to remove items from the consent agenda.
There is no code, Mr. of that. There's no code.
Stop interrupting people,
There's
Mr.
no
Kelly.
code for
Mr.
that, for a
Kelly,
consent
stop
agenda.
interrupting. There's no code for what you're
We're
saying.
not removing it from the agenda. We're only removing it for discussion.
Would you like
There's
to
a
make a
difference in
motion
the
or not,
code.
Mr. Kelly? Would you like to make a motion or not?
You have an RMC that needs to look at what she has for the desk reference to remove items for discussion on the consent agenda.
So
We're not
since you're
taking them
not
off the
making a
agenda.
motion, since you're not making a motion, clerk, please take the roll.
Council President, I'd like to make
Not
a
vote
motion.
on
Council
M because I
President,
have a
Go ahead,
conflict.
Mr. Brooks, make your motion.
I have,
Council President, I would like to make a motion that we separate item number A for a separate vote due to a conflict of interest.
Okay?
what about
I'd
M?
like to second that motion.
I'd second it.
Okay, Mr. Brooks and Mr. Kelly. Clerk, take the roll call to separate A for a separate vote.
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes, was that difficult?
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
You made it difficult,
Do your
child.
job.
Child.
Councilmember Friedlander, Councilmember Friedlander,
Manny.
No, I said.
Okay.
Councilmember Craig.
Why would you vote no? You're spending more time doing this than you could do.
Mr. Kelly, stop talking.
I can
Stop
vote
being a
the way I
child.
want, like you do.
I didn't, be quiet, Mr. Kelly. It's not your job to comment on how people vote. Not much longer we got to deal with this. Go ahead. I didn't hear Mr. Kritz's vote.
I
6
didn't
no.
either. Thank you.
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon, Vice President Sackett, President Jackson,
Yes, that's 8 yeses, 1 no. So A will be separated. So can we vote on all the other items?
Council President?
No, you have a motion for M. I have a conflict with M.
Tucker, we make a motion to remove M, please, for him.
Sure. M.
M as in Mary.
Okay, anybody want to second that?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay.
Clerk, you can take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon, Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
President Jackson.
Yes, that's 9 yeses. M will be separated also.
And then, Mr. Jackson, on N, 2107, there's a question on one portion of the billing change of that contract.
Would you like to make a motion to separate
Make a
that?
motion. First of all, there's no need for a motion because it's
Would you
not
like
under
to
our
make a
code.
motion to separate
A
that?
motion to remove N for discussion to vote on separately.
Okay, Mr. Kelly made a motion to remove N. Does anybody want to second that?
You guys are sad.
Okay, so let's go. You're sad. You're a sad
Yeah.
individual. So we're voting on everything except for A and M.
Approve
So
expenditure
clerk,
without even
take the
talking
roll
about it.
call on voting for everything except for A and M.
Councilmember Kelly.
No.
Of course.
Councilmember Quinn.
You forced me,
Yes.
Manny. You forced me. I'm not going to
Yeah,
vote for
whatever.
one thing.
Come on,
Yeah,
guys.
that's okay.
Bring it back in.
You're
I
the
couldn't hear
representative.
Play
Councilmember
his game,
Quinn.
Manny.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Friedlander.
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz.
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg.
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Councilmember Noon.
Yes.
Vice President Sackett.
I am not sad. I am happy. Yes.
You're a happy, sad man.
Council President Jackson.
Yes, that's 8 yeses and 1 no. Those items carry. Next, we'll vote on A. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Discussion on A.
No discussion. We're just going to vote. Clerk, you can take the roll call.
Give me one moment. Bear with me.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Did we have a motion in a second?
Yeah, it was Mr. Brooks and Mr. Kelly to separate A. Do we have we have to do a motion and a second to vote on it?
Yes.
Okay, have a motion and a second to vote on A. Anybody?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Miss Noon, who seconded? Mr. Quinn. Clerk, you can
Council-
take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly.
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn.
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander.
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz. If you voted, I couldn't hear you. I apologize.
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg.
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Got a conflict, bro. There you go.
Councilmember Noon.
Yes.
Vice President Sackett.
It's funny, Councilman Kelly is telling Councilman Brooks to abstain. He should have abstained himself. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
You guys.
Stop with your hey, Mr. Kelly, stop with your childish comments. Come on, man. Grow
Stabbing him
up.
behind the back.
Go ahead, Miss Clipperton.
President Jackson.
Yes, that's 8 yeses, 1 abstention. Motion carries. Can I have a motion to vote on item M?
So moved.
Motion.
Mr. Quinn, and was that Mr. Sackett?
Okay, second.
Yeah. Clerk, you take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly.
Abstain.
Councilmember Quinn.
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander.
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz.
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg.
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Councilmember Noon.
Yes.
Vice President Sackett.
Yes.
President Jackson.
Yes, that's 8 yeses, 1 abstention. Motion carries. Next is old business, new business reports. Give everybody 15 minutes. I'll start with Mr. Salberg.
All right. Thank you for that. I just, I'm coming in from California, so give me a second.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, had an opportunity to join most of the council people and the mayor at the varsity cheerleader and football player gala. That was really nice. It was good to see, I think, some probably some future leaders of our town sitting in that room. It was just nice to see the excitement. Beyond that, again, congratulations to all the victors from the previous election. Again, we're looking forward to working with a lot of you. And again, really looking forward to the future on that. Not going to be around for Father's Day, so I wish to everybody a wonderful Father's Day. Remember those that are with us or those that are just in our memories. Again, please stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kelly.
A couple of things. First, I wanted just to say that I attended the Memorial Day parade that we had in the Rockaway Borough. Mr. and Mrs. Villard, Tom Heiler, and George Gothard are the ones that actually are the coordinators of that, along with the Rockaway, Marcella, and Denville Memorial Association. And I appreciate the help that they got from other departments within the borough and the township too. It was a great day, a good day for remembrance of those who had paid the ultimate price with that. So I do appreciate that. I want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day. And there's a lot of moms out there that do dual roles, mom and dad. So just to recognize them too, for all the efforts that they put in for their children and the role that they play. As far as old business, and maybe Mrs. Clipperton can help me with some of the old business here. Fees that we have for the plenary liquor licenses. You know, looking around to other municipalities, and I'm not sure if you've done the same thing. Where are we in perspective of our fees with regard to liquor licenses compared to other municipalities in Morris County?
Council President?
Yes.
Okay. I've actually done research concerning our liquor license fees. I am looking to amend our ordinances to increase those fees in smaller increments over the course of so many years. You can only increase the license fees for plenary retail consumption and distribution by 20% each year. So I am working on an ordinance amendment. It will need to go before the ordinance committee, but that is in the works. If that, I hope that answers your question.
Is there a cap? Is there a cap on that? What's the most we can charge?
Plenary retail consumption and distribution, the cap is, I want to say it's $2,500.
And what do we currently charge now? About $1,000?
About $1,000.
Okay.
Distribution is under that. It's a little over $700.
Okay. The one other thing that I have under old business, you know, when I was trying to have some of the stuff that we were discussing under N and the consent agenda, and maybe Mrs. Ferrante can help me get a better understanding. When we had the increase to the contract for the senior services, the $2,100 that was associated with some of the electrical boxes buried in the ceiling, how many, I mean, the information that you provided us with this agenda, it really didn't address what was the work other than just safeguarding some of the electrical boxes that were there. Do we have a total amount of what work was getting done, Mrs. Ferrante?
Yeah, Councilman Kelly, Council President, may I be recognized?
You can be recognized.
You can direct your question to me. I appreciate it, Councilman Kelly. You can send us an email. We'll get you the answers that you require. We didn't receive any questioning on this prior to just now. Okay, that's fine. I'm asking you to send us an email. Ms. Ferrante will not be answering that tonight. She's not prepared. She doesn't have numbers in front of her. I can guarantee that. You can send us an email, get you all the information
Mayor, I'd like to cut you
you
off.
need.
You're actually cutting in my time, so I thank you for the answer. The problem that I have, Mr. Mayor, is that I've met with you once in Home Depot, and you don't know anything about electrical because you're asking me questions. And I thought that it was something that was on the agenda tonight with the numbers that were there. I'm surprised that our engineer wouldn't have those numbers to move forward for us to approve the $2,100 to take out a couple of dead boxes up there and cancel and terminate at the panel. I mean, it's $2,100 to $2,500 to do a new panel service of an upgrade to a 200 amp. And we're paying somebody $2,100, and none of this council has any idea what it's for. That's my
Thank you.
concern, that we don't.
Thank
Excuse me,
you for
Mr. Mayor. I'm
thank you
not
for your
looking for an
comment.
answer from you, Mr. Mayor, and you're interrupting me while I have my time. You can talk after I'm done and my 15 minutes has been expired. The other question I have, and the mayor, just so you know, the clerk is the secretary of the council, so you don't direct the clerk. So maybe Mrs. Clipperton can help me better understanding the polling places that we had this year. Can you tell me why every polling place was changed in every single area and why it was so disruptive through each of the ward and districts through Rockaway Township? I understand with the Fox Hills issue, and we could have probably done a little bit more work to make sure that we could have used it at Fox Hills. But we had people moved all over the place, let alone almost the 700 units in Fox Hills. Now, speaking with the Board of Elections, there were some delays in responses to the Board of Elections concerning this. We know that Parsippany and Roxbury had some maneuvers of that, but it seemed that we had St. Clemens and we had Fox Hills, and you moved people to other areas of the town that was really far, where it actually frustrated people to even go to the other polling place to vote. There was complaints all that day to the Board of Elections. There was complaints to the poll workers as well as the poll master. And I just can't see you being the sole individual to make that determination. Was there assistance and guidance with that to change those locations?
Were people complaining to you when you were sitting outside Green Pond Bible all day, or were they complaining
I'm
to you
allowed
too?
to. You just don't know the law.
Just asking if they were complaining to you.
I was in compliance with the law, but the clerk wouldn't know that because she never came up there to actually see.
I'm just asking a question. You don't have to be so angry.
I'm not angry.
Oh, you are angry.
But you're interrupting my time, Council President. Mrs. Clipperton, as the clerk to the council, can you just give me some better idea of what took place?
Fox Hills Clubhouse was closed when the Board of Elections needed an answer. They denied me access to the clubhouse. And by they, I mean the directors over at Fox Hills.
The director?
I don't remember the woman that I spoke with. I don't remember her name offhand. I can get you that information if you need it.
You made it as if it was plural. Was it one person or the directors?
I spoke with two women in the office.
Okay. And then there was St. Clemens.
St. Clemens denied me access as well.
So why did we then
so the
all
ward
the other polling locations?
Ward 1 was displaced. Fox Hills was displaced. I made do with the polling venues that I had on hand. The delays with the Board of Elections were that the schools did not want to give us access to the schools for polling locations. I was trying to figure out a way to keep the public out of the schools. They had serious COVID concerns. Things had not opened up as much as they have now at that point when the decision had to be made. Ultimately, it couldn't be done. We couldn't accommodate the schools. That's the reason for the delay. All of it was unfortunate. I do understand why everyone's frustrated, and I do not plan on this being the plan going forward. I am hoping to get us back into St. Clements or find another home for the Ward 1 polling location, but I don't have anything set in stone at this time.
And what about Fox Hills? You have no issue with it going back to Fox Hills rather than disenfranchising all those seniors that are in that area that are there? I mean, that's been going on for what, 16 years, maybe even longer? But you were the main deciding factor of this. There was no assistance by anybody else. This was all you?
It was the decision that I made based on St. Clements and Fox Hills deciding that I could not have access to their private locations.
And you can send me all those contacts and communication that you have with the Board of Election, as well as Fox Hills and St. Clements?
You want me to send you my communications with the Board of
Yeah, if
Elections?
possible. Yeah, I still don't get a better understanding of what's going on there, but maybe if I read what was transpiring, it would be easier to understand.
I can consider that, yes.
I mean, again, it's your function. It's a council. You're the secretary to the council. Is there an issue with that?
No, Mr. Kelly, there's no issue, but
Thank you.
I'll email you tomorrow.
No, it doesn't have to come tomorrow. You can have it by Monday would be fine. I just didn't see you at the 2 polling places to come around to ask some of those questions and answer some of the other questions that people had with regard to the polling differences that were there.
I'm not supposed to actually go to the various polling locations. That's information that I've received from various election training. I shouldn't be going from location to location unless there's an issue and my presence is requested.
And I appreciate that. And then in that same training that you have, you remove things from the consent agenda for discussion too. So you're selective. But I appreciate it, though. I really do. And Mr. Jackson thinks it's funny as well. The last thing is, and I'll make it short. This whole thing with Mr. Monty, I'm really concerned where an individual had purchased the property, had reached out to the town for a payoff, and got some numbers, paid them off, and then 6 months later found a new amount of money that was owed, a substantial amount. I think it was in its mid to low 30s, thousand, by the way. Now, Mr. Monty, because of all this delay and everything that was taking place, and I had raised this issue a while ago, now he's at a minimum of $49,000 with an overall payment plan of 36 months to pay close to $65,000 over a 36-month period. I believe it's well over an 18% total amount that's here. And I just think it's funny that, here's a guy that had this area, has cleaned it up, has made it so much better. And here's Mr. Sackett that stabs him in the back. Mr. Brooks gets in-kind favors from him.
Stay out of it, Jonathan. Stay out of it, Jonathan.
And everything else that goes on there. Yeah, Mr. Sackett, you turned against the guy.
Stay out of it, guys. Stay out of it, guys.
Mr. Brooks.
You're not recognized.
He helps you with your pool and your materials, and you guys don't even help this guy, and you ignore him.
Excuse me.
This engineering and this construction department. I have the floor, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Kelly, I'm stopping your time.
You sit there and you pick on this man.
Your time, Mr. Kelly. Stop for a second, Mr. Perone.
You try to browbeat.
Mr. Perone,
Mr. Kelly is
not muting me.
Mr. Kelly is
Mr.
discussing
Perone, you're
legal issues
recognized.
You're picking on
and contractual issues that are inappropriate for an open session. And
Yeah.
he should cease
Mr.
immediately.
Kelly, I understand why you're talking about this in public session.
You're picking.
You're trying to do a favor for one of your friends. I get it. You shouldn't be doing that as a
No
council
favor.
person.
You're just picking. You're trying to run him out.
Mr. Kelly, you're recognized again. You still have more time.
You're just trying to run him out of money. That's what you're doing. You're picking on the guy. You have people that are involved with it are conflicted out, and it's not fair that you do that to them. You try to help them, not penalize them. Here's the mayor that wants to help his friends out with the farmers market and minimize fees.
Mr. Kelly should be silenced. He is spouting information that is contrary to the interests of the township of Rockaway.
Mr. Kelly, I move on. If you have something else to report,
please.
go ahead. Mr. Kelly, if you have something else to report,
my
go
last
ahead.
thing is, Mr. President, Mr. Perone, I'm glad that you popped up. Because again, why do we have 2 town attorneys charging a rate at a regular council meeting? Why are you here? Why can't one of you represent your firm rather than 2 where we got to pay for it? For what? You've done nothing here, Mr. Perone or Mr. Iacofano.
Neither of you.
I don't get paid, Mr.
Right. Please don't.
I give my money back.
Please don't interrupt him.
Why are you here, Mr. Perone? You are the town attorney and you do govern the whole entire governing body. So why are you here? Mr. Perone, I am a client. I'm asking you a question. Are you refusing to answer?
You're not
me?
a client. The township of Rockaway is a client, Mr. Kelly, and,
So is the
it's a good
council.
thing I'm here because you're giving information out in the public session, which is totally inappropriate, and you are acting contrary.
How is
to
it
the interests of the
inappropriate?
township, and someone has to stop you from doing that. And I'm telling you right now that what you're doing is not legally appropriate.
For what, Mr.? What is the violation, Mr. Perone? If you're going to say it, cite something that you're going to somewhat support what you're saying to me. Because I'm telling you my opinion of how Mr. Monty's being treated throughout
It
this whole
shouldn't be
entire
in public,
ordeal.
Mr. Kelly.
That
It's
Mr.
not a
Brooks
matter
didn't
for public
receive
session,
Any
and you know
benefit
better.
from Mr. Monty on his property? That Mr. Sackett has turned his eye on Mr. Monty?
You liar. Stop saying that.
Yes, you have. You blow the guy off. You ignore him.
Not
You
at
don't
all.
even
Back in high
Not
school.
at all,
Back in high
liar.
school.
Stop lying all the
Don't
time.
help him,
No way.
Mr. Sackett. So
Stop.
what's inappropriate, Mr.
Stop
Perone?
lying.
Mr. Kelly, Mr. Council President, may I please be recognized? I would ask you to end Mr. Kelly's discussion in this regard It is contrary to the interests of the Township of Rockaway. He's
No, I
maligning
understand.
the actions of
Mr.
the
Kelly,
tax
do you have anything
collector.
else to say regarding any other topic, Mr. Kelly? Yeah, 1 minute.
I do. I don't understand why you're upset that I'm telling you my opinion of how you're treating an individual and how these other individuals have a conflict with this individual.
I said if you had one, all right, your time's up. Mr. Kritz, you're up.
All right. I wasn't going to bring up the voting, but you know what? I feel like I have to. I think that in the light of losing 2 polling places, I think that Ms. Clipperton did, you know, a decent job of trying to accommodate. We're not disenfranchising anybody. We didn't tell people they couldn't vote. Just because they couldn't go to the place they voted for the last, you know, X number of years, you know, doesn't mean that we're disenfranchising them. My personal opinion is we shouldn't have a polling center in Fox Hills. There shouldn't be a polling center in a gated community. Just my opinion. I'm not making that decision. You know, somebody said something to me when I went down to Green Pond. I normally vote at KDM. I had to drive a couple miles down to Green Pond Bible this time. And I saw somebody I knew and they kind of said something. And, you know, I'm like, what I mentioned is if having to drive 5 miles down the road is the price of democracy and getting to cast my vote, then that's what I'm going to do. So what if we had to move the polling place? You know, the information was out there. All right. There were plenty of people that did not have any issues because they saw the information, they saw where they had to go vote, and they had to do it. For as many people that had to now vote out of White Meadow Lake, how many people got to vote in White Meadow Lake that didn't get to do it before? All right. So, you know what? We didn't tell anybody they couldn't vote. Some people had to drive a couple of minutes down the road when they didn't have to before. You know, and it's enough already. You know, we when this was all put into motion, we're at the, you know, coming out of COVID. You know, the state's not open. We're going to lose polling places. We react and move just like we do with plenty of other things. All right. So stop it already. Everybody got to vote who wanted to vote. All right.
That's not true.
Oh, be quiet, Mr. Kelly. You're not recognized. Stop it. Stop lying.
So that's it on the voting. I was also at the Rockets varsity dinner with most of the rest of the council. Kudos to those people that put on that event. It was I've been to a lot of them, and this was a very, very well thought out and an excellent event. So kudos to that team. The Rockets also had their punt passing tick contest at Peterson this past weekend. It was one of the most successful events that they've had in a long time. It was really great to see the crowds again and all the kids. The Rockets gave away, you know, drinks and food, and, you know, even through the rain, nobody really left. So, you know, hats off to them for a great event. The Girls Softball Association, well, unfortunately, my daughter's team has been eliminated. There's still some games going on as they figure out who the champions are going to be. My first season involved with the softball program, a top-notch program. My daughter is in the instructional level. Really, really great coaches. You know, as you guys know, I'm involved in a lot of sports, and this league, certainly no exception. They did a really, really good job. The softball is going to be putting on a golf outing on August 25th. There is a flyer coming soon to social media, and I'm sure it'll get emailed out to those members. Please consider supporting them. It's their main fundraiser, and hey, you get to go out and play around the golf and support them. Besides that, that's all I have. Happy Father's Day to everybody, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Noon.
Yeah, a couple things, which I'm going to let Councilman Freelander, him and I went to the Historical Society at the Ford Face House. What was it, last week? Or so I was happy to get in there because I guess it's going to be, might be the last time before the renovations start, but I'll let Mr. Freelander talk more about that because that's his thing. Happy to see more people at the farmers market. The new vendors, there's fruits and veggies and bread and ices. I'd also like to congratulate all the graduating classes for 2021. I know Copeland is graduating June 17th and Morris Hills and Morris Knolls the next day after, Friday, June 18th. So congratulations to all the graduates. Also had a good time, ditto on the football and cheerleading banquet that I attended with most of the council. And happy Father's Day to everyone and Independence Day. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to commend the police department and also the road department with the work that they did for the repaving of Mount Hope Avenue. It was a pretty good, not pretty good. It was a very good job of keeping traffic flowing. It's very difficult when you're doing it at night sometimes, and they did a very, very good job about that. So just wanted to commend the police department for that. Also, just wanted to just give a little update with street hockey has started, and it'll be going on for about the next 5 weeks. If there's still opportunities for kids that want to get out to shoot the puck around up at Telmark, they can do that. And also, hockey registration is going on currently. And other than that, I just want to congratulate all the graduates for this year, and one shout out to my daughter who's going to be running in the Meet of Champions this weekend for 400 hurdles. And that is
Good
it.
luck.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Luck.
Stay
All right,
safe to you.
Mr. Freelander.
Oh, here, okay, unmuted.
Yep.
A couple things. Quickly, library is having a meeting Monday, but they're going ahead with all their programs, and they're looking forward to opening up a little bit more as this COVID winds down. Ms. Noon talked about the Ford Face House. Yeah, we were at the meeting this past week, and they had their reorg, which Lisa Genovese is now the president of the Ford Face, the Historical Society, and Gene Licker is the curator, among other elected officials. Just want to say that they got the grant money, and now they're putting out a bid and the bids, and they should get an answer probably by Thursday. They should be all in by Thursday. That's the deadline for the first floor renovations with the heat, lighting, the bathroom. That's what the money came for. If you look in the front of the municipal building, you'll see a little picture of the Ford Face House, and the gas line is in. They put it in a great spot away from everything, and yeah, they're moving forward, and hopefully they're now going to apply for another grant for the second floor. So and that's already in. So hopefully that'll get it. And this plan of construction with the first, to be quick on that, probably will last 9 months. That's what they were told to anticipate. So hopefully they'll want to open up in 2022, and that'll be the 250th year anniversary of the Ford Face House. So it's a great it'll be a great year for our historical society.
Is there water in there?
What?
Is there water in there?
No.
Okay.
There is actually in the little refrigerator with bottled water.
Go ahead, Mr. Freelander. Keep going with your got more to report.
Well, let's put it this way: there will be water. What?
You got more to report, or you good?
Yeah. Well, no. One more. This is the important one that everybody was wondering. Next Tuesday, June 22nd, 7 o'clock, Municipal Building will probably be advertised. The Board of Assessment is meeting. Okay, and that's the one committee that was delayed because of obvious reasons, and it is set for Tuesday, the 22nd. That's the third one. I just want a couple thank yous, and then I'm done. I want to thank the administration reaching out to engineering. There's some issues with Valley View Drive, and they're taking care of that. I want to thank administration for He added, last year, they put some signs. If you go through White Meadow Lake, you'll see some speeding signs. They added more, so kudos to administration and traffic for putting them up. And the third one, I just got to tell you guys, I'm amazed at our fire departments. I tell you, for a town, we're so lucky to have these people in our town. I was driving around one night and I decided to go into Commons Way by the Record. That's where the new development is going up at the end, Society Hill. And I pulled up to the circle, sort of big building, and I saw fire engines, three of our fire engines there with about 10-15 cars parked. Got out of my car, walked around. I saw them all coming out of the finished building, the 3-story building. No, it's not finished, but it's up. And I talked to the chief. He says, this is what we do. They were making an inspection of the complex to see, what's accessible, what is, before it goes to the next phase of construction. And he told me that they're going to do that with the hotel on Green Pond, that they'll physically go in and inspect before the building is completed. So they know where everything is and what they have to do as far as equipment. I tell you, I sleep better at night because I know our fire companies in our town are like this. So kudos to everybody that volunteers, EMTs and everybody in the town. It's just amazing. And that's it. And just happy Father's Day is coming around the corner. So enjoy that day because we did with theirs.
All right. Mr. Quinn.
Hey, thank you. Happy Father's Day first to everybody. I did attend the banquet for the graduating Rockets. It was excellent, fun time. Also, I have a few other things here. The seniors, Senior Services is now trying to run 2 events a month for the seniors through Dial-A-Ride so that they can get out and basically have a nice lunch or dinner, whatever they want to have. It is up to them. It's driven by them. And it's good. We had a function today at the Cracker Barrel. It was attended by 20-25 people. And it was good. They socialized and it was good. Any person that's been disabled or is homebound loves to get out and at least have some interaction. If anybody is interested in this, any seniors or any disabled, they can call Veronica over at Town Hall. That number 973-983-2839. She will give you an update on all the events that we're planning and hopefully see you there. Those are what the residents are looking for. These are great events. Lacrosse ended its season with the romp in the swamp, and believe me, it was swampy. It had rained and the kids' feet were soaked. My poor grandson had calluses on his feet from he played 10 games that day. Unbelievable. But they had a great time and they all learned what teamwork's about. So I congratulate them and all the coaches that did a phenomenal job in training these kids. Other than that, I wish everybody a safe and happy holiday coming up. And also, please stay safe, be smart. We don't know what this variant is going to do, if anything. So thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Vice President Sackett.
Thank you, Council President. Hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, there's been a lot going on in town, and I'm happy to get out to a lot of the events that have been going on. way back in the month of May. We had the weekend, Memorial Day weekend on Sunday and Monday. I was able to get to pretty much all the events that weekend and to see a lot of fellow council people and residents on Monday. Some residents from Rockaway and some from the borough. That was great to see them out. Hopefully next year we get more residents out from the township as well. Citizen Rec meeting was June 1st, and a lot of the sports are starting to wrap up a little bit. So we had a quick meeting there. We had the banquet the Thursday the 3rd, and it was good to see all the council members there and so many Rockets and the cheerleaders as well. And very nice night. On the 5th, Saturday, June 5th, I saw Councilman Kritz and myself. I know I volunteered and he volunteered at the Romp in the Swamp. It's good to get down there and see so many people out there having a great time. That was on Saturday. On Sunday, I was there all day with my son as well, who played in 6 games. And I put sunblock on and it didn't seem to work too well. But that was a great event, and it was great to see so many people out there and so many lacrosse players from all over New Jersey. I think we had some from New York as well. So it was a great event by the Renegades. Rockaway Chamber of Commerce meeting is this Friday, June 18th, 9 a.m. at Christ Church. They've signed up a lot of members this year and always looking for more. You're able to attend any meeting, the first meeting for free, and after that they have a nominal fee. This Thursday, June 17th, is the Copeland Middle School graduation. I'm looking forward to attending. My daughter is Shayna is graduating 8th grade, so I'm looking forward to.
Congratulations.
And I'm real happy that they things opened up a little bit, because originally they were only letting 2 guests to attend, and my mother wasn't too happy that she wasn't able to attend. So I'm happy that they've opened it up. I know administration, I know Assistant Business Administrator Dyer was working real hard with Copeland on that, and it's going to be a big event. I'm looking forward to attending that on Thursday. Also, I still see, I know there's some time, but I see not the current council people, but I do see a lot of signs from candidates throughout town. I don't know if they're listening, but a lot of county candidates out there, please come to Rockaway and get your signs and pick them up and put them away. Don't leave them sitting out there, because I see a ton of them sitting out there. And also just want to wish everyone a happy Father's Day and a happy 4th of July. Thank you.
Thank you. I thought you were going to say your mother wasn't happy because you weren't going to be able to go because she was going.
She may have come down to that.
All right, I got a few things. First of all, want to remind everybody on Saturday at 11 a.m. at Birchwood, there's going to be a bench dedication for a crossing guard that tragically passed away. So if you plan on attending, let Chrissy know. All the council's invited to attend. Attended the football dinner with everybody else very well. I think it's my 10th or so dinner. It was just very well done, as I think Mr. Kritz said. Really good time. Good seeing some of the council members. First parade ever participated was the Memorial Day parade. It was so well done, and to see all those people lined up on the street, getting out of this, situation we've been in the past year was just really cool, and it was a really well done event and really heartfelt, and out to the people who made the ultimate sacrifice, Councilman Kelly said. I wanted to touch on, been at several baseball games at Peterson and Oak Meadow, and just kudos to Dave Swan and his crews for how well the fields look. I mean, they're just in incredible shape. All the fields just look great. And then also noticed yesterday the tennis courts at Peterson have been painted, and it looks really cool. The nets are up. Everything looks great. Really looks good out there. Outside of that, I don't have anything else. So, Mr. Mayor, if you have anything to report.
I do. Thank you, President. First of all, I want to congratulate all of you who ran for election, and I want to congratulate Ms. Ross on her win as 6th Ward Councilor. It's very difficult to run for service for the town. It takes a lot of time, a lot of So I want to congratulate everybody, and I'm looking forward to working with Ms. Brooks. I also want to mention Councilman Brooks. I know there was a concern with Rockaway Borough Parks Lake in terms of obviously they're redoing their dams. I just want to let you know that we are working with the borough. I know there was a concern in terms of their swim team being allowed to use that for swimming and whatnot. I appreciate you going down that avenue to bring it to my attention. We're working with the borough. We certainly will be good neighbors, and if Park Lake is not completed, we'll definitely work with them to try to accommodate them for the season so that project gets done. I want to let everyone know things have been opening up. There's been some questions in terms of when is the municipal building going to be open, where the resident taxpayers no longer have to make appointments, and that we are going to be open on June 22nd, which is Tuesday. We'll be opening up. We will be closed on Monday for Juneteenth holiday. So we will be opening on June 22nd. So mark your calendars. We put out a notice to our staff, and we'll be putting out to our residents. I want to thank Council President Jackson. Each year we try to do a appreciation day, a barbecue in the summertime for our employees. It's been a very hectic year. So I want to thank Joe Jackson. He had brought that to our attention. He's spearheading that initiative. Council and myself, we're going to, July 1st, we're going to have a barbecue at Town Hall in honor of our employees. So I want to welcome all of you to come down and help cook. Many hands make light work, so I hope as many of you can make it down there. That would be great. I want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day, a happy Independence Day. I'm going to repeat once again that we are holding the Copeland graduation this Thursday at 10 a.m. at Peterson Field. I was glad to host that, and I want to thank once again Jonathan Sack, Councilman Sack, where Dave Dyer put a lot of effort into that. Working with them, it's always dependent. We look like we have great weather on the horizon, so that's good. So that's good news.
Mr. Mayor, you're breaking up a lot.
You've been breaking up
You're breaking up. It's hard to understand some of the things you're saying.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better.
Okay. I just want to repeat that we're going to have Copeland graduation at Peterson Field this Thursday at 10 a.m. I want to thank Dave Dyer and the other folks who worked very hard on that. Dave had spearheaded that initiative to work with the superintendent to get that up and running. Obviously, like I said, it's weather dependent. It looks like we're going to have a great day for the kids. The tennis courts, if you haven't been down there, tennis pickleball courts have been completed. They're lined. They look fantastic. And the basketball courts were a few days behind because we had some rain over the past couple of weeks. But the basketball courts, they're getting their final top coat put on, a nice acrylic surface green. So if you drive by there, you'll see a section of that done. And I think that is, I have one more thing. We've been working on, there have been some traffic issues over the past year up in Lake Telmark for about a year and a half. I have been working, our engineering department has been working with the Telmark leadership in terms of looking at the community, looking where we possibly need some stop signs, some crosswalks. So that is a work in progress. I want to ask everybody to be patient. We have a lot going on right now with Peterson, with a few other projects in town that we're catching up on, but we are moving forward and getting some good stuff done. So I want to thank everybody, and I want to thank the council for your input and for working with me as well as you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Yachfano, anything to report?
I have nothing, Council President. Happy Father's Day to everyone.
Okay, Mrs. Seeger?
I think the mayor covered everything, and if it was hard to hear at one point, we are opening the building to the public on June 22nd. And thank you all for your support, and have a great Father's Day.
Thank you. Mrs. Ferrante, anything to report?
No comment.
Mrs. Palmieri?
No report. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Mr. Dyer?
Good evening, Council President. Thank you for the kind words, Jonathan and the mayor, but since it was brought up, there's two people that need to be recognized for the Copeland Middle School graduation. And those are two individuals that when you come to them with a question, if they could do something, they answer yes before even finishing. That's Dave Swan and Sue Gabe. So I just want to publicly thank them. Sue moved around some games so we can get onto the field prior, and Dave Swan has just been working his tail off to try to make this happen. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, that's it. Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Perone.
Motion to adjourn.
You forgot Mr. Perone.
Council President,
Take that
Yeah.
motion.
real quick, I know you mentioned the Birchwood dedication.
Yeah.
You did leave off the late Cheryl Miskimen, who had passed away as well. Birchwood,
Okay.
I just wanted to have her recognized.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Perone's report.
Mr. Kritz, second.
Mr.
All in
Perone's
favor?
report, please.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned.